You believe dozens of things that are provably false. Right now, your head is full of facts that aren't true, not opinions, not debates. Things debunked for decades, still repeated in classrooms and headlines every day. And the strangest part, even when you hear the truth, part of you will resist it. There's a name for this, the illusory truth effect. Hear a statement enough times and your brain stops questioning it. Repetition creates familiarity. Familiarity feels like truth. So the myths that spread fastest are the ones that sound clean and satisfying. Let's start with one every parent swears is true. Sugar makes kids hyperactive. In 1995, the Journal of the American Medical Association analyzed 16 double-blind studies. The conclusion was unambiguous. Sugar does not affect children's behavior or cognitive performance. Not even a little. So why does it feel so real? Expectation. When parents believe their child had sugar, they rate the kid as more hyperactive, even when it was a placebo. The birthday party's excitement drives the energy, not the cake. Your brain built the evidence to match the belief. Here's another one. You need 8 glasses of water a day. This came from a 1945 Food and Nutrition Board recommendation, suggesting 2.5 liters daily. But everyone forgot the next sentence, which said most of that comes from food and other beverages. You don't need 8 glasses of pure water. Your body has a precise hydration sensor built in. It's called thirst. Coffee counts. Tea counts. The water in fruit, soup, vegetables, all of it contributes. Only athletes, people in extreme heat, and those with specific medical conditions need to track intake. For everyone else, drink when you're thirsty. Now the big one. We only use 10% of our brain. Probably the most repeated neuroscience myth in history. Self-help books, motivational speeches, movies, they all repeat it. And it's completely, embarrassingly false. You use virtually all of your brain every single day. Functional MRI scans show activity across the entire brain even during simple tasks like walking or listening to music. Lose 90% of your brain and you don't unlock hidden powers. You'd be dead or vegetative. Evolution doesn't build energy-hungry organs just to leave them idle. Closely related is the left brain versus right brain myth. You've heard it. Left-brained people are logical. Right-brained people are creative. Neat framework, also wrong. A 2013 University of Utah study analyzed over 1,000 brain scans and found zero evidence that people favor one side. Both hemispheres are involved in nearly every cognitive task. Creativity requires logic. Logic requires imagination. The brain operates as an integrated whole with constant communication across the corpus callosum. The idea that you're wired for either art or science is a story we tell to avoid the harder truth. Anyone can develop both. Let's talk animals. Goldfish have a 3-second memory. This myth gets used to justify tiny bowls and cramp tanks. But researchers at Plymouth University trained goldfish to push levers at specific times for food. The fish remembered the task for months. They recognize faces, navigate mazes, distinguish between shapes and colors. Which means that goldfish bowl isn't just small. It's a prison for an animal with enough memory to suffer from boredom. The 3-second myth doesn't make fish less complex. It just makes us feel better about how we treat them. Next, bulls are enraged by the color red. You've seen the matador's cape, the dramatic charge. Except bulls, like most cattle, are dichromatic, essentially red-green colorblind. They can't see red as red. What triggers the charge is the movement of the cape, not its color. Mythbusters tested this directly. They placed flags of 3 different colors in an arena with a bull. The bull charged all of them equally. Red, blue, white didn't matter. Only motion mattered. The red cape is tradition, not biology. It's there for the audience, not the animal. Here's another animal myth. Chameleons change color to blend in with their surroundings. Almost entirely wrong. Chameleons change color for communication and temperature regulation. A calm chameleon might be green. An angry or mating one shifts to bright reds, yellows, oranges. Camouflage is a minor side benefit, not the purpose. The color change is controlled by a layer of cells called chromatophores, which contain nanocrystals that reflect different wavelengths depending on how the cells expand or contract. It's a biological display system, not a cloaking device. The chameleon isn't hiding, it's talking. Now for the one your grandmother warned you about. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Dr. Donald Unjur was so tired of hearing this from his mother that he cracked the knuckles of his left hand twice a day for over 50 years. Never cracked his right hand. After 5 decades, both hands were arthritis-free. He published his findings and won the Ig Nobel Prize in 2009. The sound of a knuckle crack is gas bubbles collapsing in the synovial fluid of the joint. Multiple studies confirmed no link between knuckle cracking and osteoarthritis. Your grandmother meant well. She was still wrong. Let's move to history. Napoleon Bonaparte was short. The average French male at the time of his death was about 5 feet 5 inches. Napoleon measured 5 feet 6, slightly above average. The myth comes from British propaganda and a confusion between French and British inches, which were different lengths. British cartoonists like James Gilray drew Napoleon as a tiny tantrum-throwing child, and the image stuck. Political satire, weaponized into historical fact. The word Napoleon complex exists because of cartoons, not because of the actual man. Another historical myth. Albert Einstein failed math in school, especially ironic because Einstein was a mathematics prodigy. By age 15, he'd mastered differential and integral calculus. The myth may have started from a grading system change in Switzerland, where 6 became the highest grade instead of the lowest. When Einstein saw the rumor in a newspaper, he laughed and said, "I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus." The myth persists because it's comforting. It tells struggling students that even geniuses fail. But Einstein's real story is more impressive, not less. Here's one about your body. Shaving makes hair grow back thicker and darker. Dermatologists have studied this extensively. Shaving doesn't change the thickness, color, or growth rate of hair. What it does is cut the hair at its thickest point, the shaft, leaving a blunt edge instead of the natural tapered tip. That blunt edge feels coarse as it pushes through the skin and looks darker because you're seeing the cross-section, not the lighter tip. It's an optical and tactile illusion. The follicle beneath the skin has no idea what happened on the surface. Now, a myth so fundamental you might not even question it. Humans have 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Aristotle proposed this over 2,000 years ago and we never updated it. But neurologists identify at least 9, and some argue for over 20 distinct sensory systems. You have proprioception, which tells you where your body parts are without looking. Equilibrioception, your sense of balance. Thermoception for temperature. Nociception for pain. Time perception. Each is processed by a different system. The 5-sense model isn't wrong. It's radically incomplete. So why do all these myths survive? It comes back to what we started with. The illusory truth effect, plus confirmation bias, plus the fact that myths are usually simpler than reality. Sugar makes kids hyper is 6 words. The real explanation takes 2 minutes. In a world built for sound bites, the simpler story always wins. But here's the thing. The truth is almost always more interesting than the myth. A goldfish with a 3-month memory is more remarkable than one with 3 seconds. A chameleon communicating through color is more fascinating than one hiding. Einstein mastering calculus at 15 beats Einstein failing math. The myths don't just mislead, they flatten reality. And that's the real cost. When we accept simple myths, we stop asking questions. We stop being curious. We build a worldview out of comfortable fictions and then act surprised when reality doesn't cooperate. Every myth we dismantled today had a real story behind it. Every real story was harder to find, but worth the effort. So the next time someone tells you something that sounds too clean, too simple, too perfectly designed to be memorable, pause. Ask where it came from. Ask who benefits from you believing it. Because the most dangerous myth of all is the one that tells you you've already got it all figured out. Follow for more myths dismantled with evidence, and share this with someone who still believes them.